So for our project with the walking tour using Google Maps, we are using Zoom to help record our screen so we can show it better. And how we're using that is just using the screen record button while on Zoom. Also, we wrote scripts to read as we're going to each place. And we did that by looking up different facts and combining them all onto a Google Doc about the places that we seemed best to be on our walking tour. We also figured out how to use Google Maps by watching the informational video connected to the website and learning how to do that. So without further ado, we're going to start off with our first destination, the Eiffel Tower, and that is going to be presented by Maddie.
Okay, so with the Eiffel Tower, the construction started in 1887 on January 28th. It's about 1,063 feet tall, including the antenna. Without the antenna, it's about 984 feet. And it was the world's tallest structure until the Chrysler Building was built in New York in 1930. And the Eiffel Tower was built to sway slightly in the wind, but the sun affects it more. The Eiffel Tower is made of iron and not steel, and the iron that makes up the tower structure came from the Pompeii forges. It's east of France. The iron plates and beams produced through the puddling process were then pre-assembled in the Eiffel factories. The Eiffel Tower is one of the most recognizable landmarks. The tower was designed as the centerpiece of the 1889 World's Fair in Paris. It was meant to commemorate the centennial of the French Revolution and show off France's modern mechanical prowess on a world stage.
All right, so the next place that we're going to be going is the Arc de Triomphe, and that is going to be presented by Lisa. Or no, Jared, I think.
So the space where the Arc de Triomphe was almost dedicated to be an elephant. Pre-Napoleon, French architect Charles Ribart proposed a 3-level elephant-shaped building that would be entered through a spiral staircase that led upstairs to the elephant's gut. The furniture would fold into the walls, and there would be a drainage system in the elephant's trunk. Ribart was all set to start building, but the French government ended up denying his request. The arch was commissioned by Napoleon in 1806, not too long after his victory in Austerlitz. It took about 30 years to finish the arch, and inside, relief structures at the base of each of the 4 pillars show 4 victories and war scenes. The top of the arch has the names of major successes during the Revolutionary and Napoleonic periods. Less important victories can be found on the inside walls, plus the names of 558 generals. The underlined names are to show that the general died in battle. Unfortunately, Napoleon never got to see his work finished. Standing at 164 feet high by 148 feet wide, it's the second largest triumphal arch standing today, and was the largest until 1982 when North Korea unveiled its Arch of Triumph. A few weeks after the end of World War I, Charles Godefroy flew his fighter plane through the arch to salute all of the airmen killed in the war. It was caught on tape, which means it is now on YouTube. Fun fact.
All right. So now the next place that we're going to be headed is the Palace of Versailles.
The Palace of Versailles was built in 1631. It was originally a hunting lodge, but it became the principal royal residence of France from 1682 under Louis XIV until the start of the French Revolution in 1789 under Louis XVI. Important events that happened here include the Peace of Paris being signed here. The proclamation of the German Empire occurred in the Hall of Mirrors, and World War I ended with the Treaty of Versailles. It became a museum in 1837, and another fun fact is that the Hall of Mirrors has 357 mirrors.
All right, so now the next place we're going to be going is the Notre Dame Cathedral.
So I'll wait for you to click on it. So the Notre Dame Cathedral is also known as Notre Dame de Paris, but most people just refer to it as the Notre Dame. It's a medieval Catholic cathedral on Isle de la Cité in the 4th arrondissement of Paris. The cathedral was consecrated to the Virgin Mary and considered to be one of the finest examples of the French Gothic architecture during that time. The name of the cathedral in English means Our Lady, and it is dedicated to the Blessed Virgin. The construction for Notre Dame started in 1163 and ended in 1245. And just recently, in the past years, I believe it had like an accident with fire and burned down. They rebuilt it again, but the decisive events have taken place in Notre Dame, including the coronation of Napoleon Bonaparte and the beatification of Joan d'Arc and the coronation of Henry IV of England. The spire height was 300 feet tall, but was destroyed in a fire, and the two tower heights are 226 feet tall. The fire that destroyed the part of the church was on April 15th, 2019. It was caused by an electrical short. Some of the damage included the roof and spire being destroyed and the windows and vaulted ceilings being damaged. However, scaffolding has been successfully removed from the roof of the Paris and Notre Dame, and more than a year after the historic cathedral caught fire, representing a critical step in its lengthy and arduous restoration process.
All right, and now the last place that we're going to be going on our walking tour is Sacré-Cœur. Quick disclaimer, I might be butchering the name. But as we're making our way over there and going to see it, all right. So this beautiful area is also known as the Basilique of the Sacred Heart of Paris, and it's a Roman Catholic church and minor basilica in Paris, France, dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Sacré-Cœur is located at the summit of the Butte Montmartre, the highest point in the city. The Sacred Heart Basilica of Montmartre is a Roman Catholic church and a famous landmark in Paris with a deep and complex history as not only a religious monument, but also a political one. The site has been around since pagan times through the Middle Ages and the French Revolution. And you can see a lot of the beautiful architect that was done on the inside. Montmartre was originally named Mos Martis, meaning Mount of Mars. This was later Christianized to Montémer, or Mount of the Martyr. This is a reference to, and Sacré-Cœur is a reference to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The first Christian chapel was built in Montemare around 475 AD in honor of the martyred Saint Denis, who was the first bishop of Paris. Besides Saint Denis, Montemare became associated with Christian martyrs in general and was a popular destination for pilgrims in the Middle Ages. In 1792, during the French Revolution, the abbey, which had grown up around the chapel, was destroyed and inhabitants dispersed. The abbey was eventually executed. During the Paris Commune of 1871, hundreds of commune members hid in the chalk mines near this place. They were killed when the government dynamited the exits, adding to the hill's body count. In the 1800s, a contest was held to choose a designer for the modern Bastilla. The winner, Paul Abadie, used a unique style drawing on Roman and Baltese influence. This place is constructed of stone from the Chateau Landon, which is known for its high contact of salite. An interesting fact is that in damp weather, salite leaches out of the stone, keeping the appearance of the monument chalky white. Not everyone knows, but the top of the dome is open to the public and is the second highest point in Paris after the Eiffel Tower. Many tourists visit for the panoramic views. On warm evenings, Parisans and tourists gather on the steps of this church to enjoy the view of the city. And to give a little look more of what the view looks like, we'll come around the corner. And then here's also the front side here. And then whereas you turn around, you have a whole view of Paris. So that will be our last stop on our walking tour. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.